Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the village, the township, you know, those government entities that make laws, regulations, and rules that affect you out there.
That's right. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard, Oxford Township, or Addison Township, these are the people that you elected, and the commissions and the committees that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you chose to attend that important meeting or not. And that's why we're here.
And shame on you if you don't attend, because there's humor, and the humor comes back and it can bite you, right?
That's right. Sometimes the humor is found on a high level and sometimes not so high.
Right. One of the things that we do here, and that is we spread rumors, so pay close attention, because this guy is the guy that usually sets the rumors.
Yeah, but he confirms them.
Yeah, we do. Well, let's talk about some of the meetings, shall we?
Sure.
Actually, we have 3 meetings. I don't know if we'll have time to talk about all 3, but let's talk first of all about the Addison Township Board of Trustees, and then we'll go on to the Oxford Addison Cable Commission meeting, which you know a thing or two about.
Oxford Area
You
Cable
know about it,
Communications
don't you?
Commission.
One of those.
Proper.
Yes,
OACCC.
it would be.
That's it.
Yeah, we have the expert here, folks, so he'll fill us in on what it went on there.
And the other expert.
Has been. Expert. Okay, anyway, so let's talk about Addison Township. Bruce Pearson, of course, is the supervisor of the township, and he heads up the trustees. On that board also, though, you have the clerk, which is Pauline Bennett, and also the treasurer, Lori Fisher, along with the trustees, Ed Brakefield. By the way, this is Ed's last shot, I think.
His swan
Last
song?
meeting. Swan song. Yeah, and one of the first things they did, and we'll get right on to that, is
This will be your signet song.
my signet song.
Yeah, on November 8th.
Tell me more.
You'll be a member of the regular political municipal league, so to speak.
The elite.
The elite. The power what be?
I did say elite. I didn't say delete.
Oh, well.
Elite. Okay, but with the township, that's true.
That's true. Oxford.
Oxford Township. Pledge of, or they did the pledge, of course, and a prayer following directly after, which is a good thing.
I think
I like to
Ed
see
leads that, doesn't he?
Ed does, and Ed has done this for years.
Yeah.
I mean, the first order of business, of course, they had a letter of correspondence from the attorney, Robert Davis, and it concerned Ed.
The ubiquitous Robert Davis.
Yeah, the attorney. He actually handles several areas, you know, Oxford Township as well, and other townships and villages.
Thereby ubiquitous.
Yeah, one of those. Anyway, they presented a plaque to John Beamer, who's also leaving as a trustee, and for his recognition and service, of course, to the community, Addison Township. And also presented a plaque to Ed Brakefield, who has been a trustee and served in different positions for over 20 years. Can you imagine that? 20 years, yeah.
That's dedication.
Time for a break for Ed, probably. That's why I call him Ed Brakefield.
That's right.
Okay. But they had some really nice things to say about both of these gentlemen, and they did provide some excellent, very, very good feedback and assistance in making various things happen, including the new building that they just built over in Addison.
But even though he's leaving the board, I have a feeling his antennas will still be up.
I think he'll probably pay attention. You can't really walk away from something like
No.
that after 20 years without knowing what's going on. And of course, he's a very active individual for the community, so I don't see
That's
him
right.
just disappearing. His wife is active too, so, you know.
So if a storm flag is waving over the township, I'm sure Ed will be at the next meeting.
Yep. Anyway, both of these men are very good gentlemen, and they've done a great service, of course, for Addison Township, and it was recognized.
Yep.
Agenda. They did the minutes, of course, and public hearing approval of the CDBG. Now, remember what that is?
Community Development Block Grant.
Very
he
good.
Said.
Hey, I've almost got him trained, folks.
I have flashcards.
Yeah, you do?
No.
No, you don't. Okay. And of course, the public hearing, they said, does the public want to say anything at this point? Nope. So,
What kind of shoes you got there? Florsheim's, I
yeah,
see.
I recognize those shoes. Oh, they're mine. Okay. So anyway, it was approved. The 2013, 2015 to move funds. They're allowed to do that.
Move it?
Yeah, move it to the current block grant, so they have additional funding to deal
Okay.
with. Okay.
Otherwise known as a rollover.
Yeah, roll over. Yeah, roll over again. No, you can only do it once. Every once in a while,
Okay.
you do it once. But Article 5, finance resolution was presented, and that one is rather interesting because when Bruce Pearson was working on the building, he used some of his own money, in order to purchase certain things, because in order to purchase any items for the township, normally you have to go before the trustee board to get approval.
Sure.
So, and it happens so often that Bruce said, well, I'll just pay it out of my pocket. And he says, when I get to the meeting, I'll ask for the money then. Well, they said, well, Bruce is fairly trustworthy. Let's pass a resolution where he can, for these various smaller items and so forth, he can just go ahead and we'll automatically have an approval for it. So, pretty cool. But they had to make a resolution because otherwise he would have to
Sure,
return.
it was a resolution?
Yeah, it was a resolution. It was a
I
resolution.
didn't think a resolution
Yeah.
was legally binding at all.
Oh yeah, this is legally binding. Once you do a resolution, and all of my resolutions, and this one is to the article. That said you have to come to the township, for approval. Well, now he doesn't have to give everything approved, and there's a certain level of financing that he's allowed to do without approval. Though he can't just go out and buy $2 million worth of something and
A resolution.
under his name. Resolution.
Okay.
Yep. It is resolved that this. Okay. Approval of fire departments. Let me see, what did they do? Oh, pagers. They wanted new pagers.
Pagers?
Yeah, remember we
People
talked.
still use pagers?
Oh yeah, they do for the fire department.
What happened to cell phones?
They probably use those too, but these are pagers. I don't know. That's what they're called, pagers.
Okay.
And you can actually talk on them too, between each person.
Oh, okay.
But they're not a telephone service as such.
They're communicators.
Yeah, communicators. That's right. Kind of like what you sometimes do. Very seldom, but occasionally do.
I do it physically.
Right. So anyway, the chief, he suggested that they could get 20 of these. They're called G1 pagers, and it's from Digicom Global. And he did a pretty good research on all these. And for $9,289, he said that they can,
How many?
$9,280, they can
How many?
get 20.
20.
20 units.
No.
And they said, well, where should the money be taken from? How about Bruce? He's paying for things on the side. No, Bruce is all done. He got an approval now that he can buy this, but through capital funding. We'll do this through the capital account.
Is this like a walkie-talkie?
It's kind of a really
Does
kind of a small
does it use a
walkie-talkie.
network or a system?
Use a network.
Does it?
They
Oh,
have a control unit and so forth.
Oh, okay.
For
a little bit more than just a walkie-talkie then.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So anything, it's what the police use a lot of times, and of course fire department
Sure.
to communicate. Especially if they're putting out a fire. Got all this smoke and flame and everything. Got a guy on the other side of the building. Need to talk to him.
Give me the
Say,
hose.
watch out for the yeah.
Give me the hose. Give me the hose.
Please give me the hose. Oh, give me a bigger hose.
A longer hose. It's got to get to the other side of the building.
Yeah, or more water. I don't care. But anyway, so they need to communicate that, and that they did. Then they talked about Lake Lot District and how that should be defined in definition. For example, now if you do a septic field, the village or the township requires 100 feet, from the lake. And what's interesting is Oakland County only requires 50 feet from the lake, so they want to bring it more in alliance. With that, we'll talk more when we come back right after this. Yeah, how about that?
Marine Corporal Patrick Gallagher came here from Ireland. Serving his new country was what he wanted to do. It was the Vietnam War. He was there. Funny thing about war, protecting your buddies becomes number one. On an early July morning of 1966, in a foxhole near Canlow, in came an enemy grenade. Gallagher quickly kicked it out, and it exploded. Another came in. Gallagher threw himself over it to protect his buddies. It didn't go off. He quickly threw it out. It exploded. He won the Navy Cross and later gave his life in that war. There's a new missile destroyer coming along. It should be called the Patrick Gallagher. With your help, it could be. Go online to Patrick Gallagher USMC petition to lend your support.
There's a lot of history to Oxford. Hidden around every corner, deep in every crack, and sometimes right in front of you, waiting to be discovered. If you just dig a little, you'll find the great history of our beautiful town. Welcome to Historic Oxford.
Welcome back, Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kennedy.
And we are talking about Addison Township and the trustee board meeting that they had. And they want to change the lake lot district definition. And as I said, the township requires 50 feet or 100 feet from the lake, 100 feet from the lake. And whereas the health department in the county, they require 50 feet for a septic field.
Is there a state one too?
There is, and I think the county corresponds with the state requirement.
Okay. And that brings up what we were talking about last week about the person that wanted a variance of 40 feet
40 feet,
for her
yep.
engineered system.
And it sounded pretty extreme, especially when you're looking at the ordinance
foot.
of 100 feet.
Yeah.
You say, why? How can they get away with 40 feet? Well, when you look at the county, it's 50 feet. And with the new engineered systems that they have, they don't really require even that much space.
Of course, after they make this ruling, they'll be looking with an eagle eye at anything that happens to be sprouting in the lake after this.
They will. And one of the things they actually brought up is that their inspector from the county would be then, doing the major inspection. But the township, they said, well, we'd like to have our inspector join their inspector when this is done, and actually get authority from the township.
That's right. There's
to
nothing
do it.
like an inspector to inspect an inspector.
Right. But I think that will actually fall by the wayside in the point that the township eventually will do all their own inspections.
Yep.
And they certainly have that ability out there in Addison. Your inspector does a good job. So I don't think there would be any questions along that line. So anyway, that being said, that was approved, ready to go through. And they approved sending it back to the Planning Commission, actually, because they're the ones that have to make the recommendation, final approval. So it's going to go back to the Planning Commission.
2 more meetings.
Right. Lawn maintenance contracts. There were a couple of mowing companies that take care of the the ball fields and so forth and around the administrative building.
I take it this would apply to 2017.
It would be. And so bids went out. And actually, a company that's one of them that's doing it is Sunrise Lawn Service. Kelvin Sotheby owns the company.
Oh.
And he's been doing a great job, and he's the only one actually that went in for a complete bid to do all the work. Whereas the other company, they didn't want to do certain portions of the work, so they decided to go with Sunrise Lawn Service. And actually, Sunrise Lawn Service was less money than the other company.
Oh.
So it worked out pretty well. They're trying to save you money out there, folks. Public forum, none. So he said, Supervisor Pearson said, well, we have 2 new trustees about to take their positions on the board here next month. One is Jake Newby, the other one is Joel King. And they happen to be in the audience, so he introduced them. Excuse me, and they said, we'll pick the chair for you up here. And one of them said, well, as long as it's not in the bathroom, they'd be willing to go along with it. But so anyway, so they were introduced to the rest of the public. PVMC Television company provided documentation that they would like to handle the television viewing for the public out there. Now, AT&T is the main service out in that area. The OCC provides the service to. But this company, of course, has been making waves across the board here.
Yeah.
It was pretty much, the information was put aside, and they said anybody that wanted to read what they have, it's available there, on record. So that's as far as that went. Now, a number of people were finally thanked, for doing the work on the building, providing the dirt, for surrounding area, leveling it out, helping with the grass and all that kind of thing.
Unlike the current electoral process where they're shoveling dirt, this dirt was deeply appreciated.
Right, it was. Now, I want to tell you, though, they're putting in a sled hill. Right in
really?
back of the administrative building.
It is kind of a drop back there.
Yeah, and actually, I think there's 200 tons of dirt that was provided by TKMS, and a driver and a bulldozer was
Wow.
provided, no charge, to the township. So you kids out there are going to have a great time this winter because that's going to be finished, I guess, in a short period of time here.
Just watch out where you park your car.
Be careful where you park your car. You got it. Yeah, down the hill you go. Now that is all we have pretty much for Addison Township. So
Okay.
let's now talk about the Oxford-Addison Cable Commission
Oxford area
area.
Cable
Yep,
Communications
Commission. Tell me more.
I just did.
Oh, you did, yeah, okay.
Otherwise known as the OACCC.
Right. So there's some key things that occurred at that meeting, and it was held at the Oxford Village
Offices. Yeah.
municipal building. And there were asked, first of all, after the agenda was approved, and of course the pledge and everything out of the way, public comments. And Bill Dunn jumped up.
Yes, he did.
What did he have to say?
I don't know. He joined on.
He joined on, yeah.
He joined on.
He said that he saw one of our promos that we ran for Stony Lake, and he didn't like it because part of the promo was showing the guardrail. And
After all, it was
part of
shot
the
from a
B-roll.
car window.
Yeah, from the B-roll. And he suggested, hey, what you need is a drone. Right. Well, yeah, he said a drone would be excellent. He says, and from a production standpoint, he said that would provide some really neat, capabilities, for the station. And Bill's right. Actually, we brought this up a couple years ago, but they kind of shelved it.
Yeah, well,
And
time has marched on and drones
Yes.
have improved.
they have improved a lot. As a matter of fact, you know that we...
Why, they're almost foolproof now.
Well, I wouldn't say that yet.
well.
But they all have, the units we're looking at have sensors in them. Mm-hmm. You can
sensitive.
program with GPS.
They're sensitive little drones.
Right.
Yeah, it's
You
like-
program them with GPS. They'll fly out. When they get tired, they turn around and come back and land at your feet, just like a good puppy dog.
Heel.
Heel. Yeah. And instead of running into trees like some of the drones do, these have sensors. They'll actually stop, turn, and go a safe way around it. Pretty cool.
Either that or they'll stop and turn and you're looking at your remote control going, why did it do that?
Right. Well, anything you got a meter or a monitor that you can watch everything that's going on. So you can also intervene and you can
How
bring
far
it
will
back.
these things go?
This particular one I was looking at is 3 miles. That's
3 miles in back?
3
or
miles.
just 3 miles
3
round
miles
trip?
out. No, 3 miles out.
Round
and back.
trip?
Yep.
Wow.
So,
The only
But-
problem there is you can't see it anymore.
well, you can on your monitor, though. You know where
see,
it's at.
You can see what it sees,
What it sees.
but you don't know what it sees.
Right. You can actually see, when it turns around, it's headed back. I guess that's about all you can tell. Oh, that tree looks familiar. We passed it on the way out.
I think it just stopped at Burger King.
Right. So anyway, Bill Dunn's point was well taken. So they're looking into it at the station here.
Yeah.
Bills. They approved the bills. They're $19,600.72, and that's your fault.
Yep.
This guy handles the accounting portion of this meeting.
Hey, I
And-
got to spend money.
Yeah. Well, if we get to it first, we erase all the numbers you have, so you're all prepared. You notice that erasures?
Yeah.
You can't do that in accounting.
What's that?
Erase.
And you
Yes.
were in business?
That's illegal to have erasures.
Is it really?
You gotta make a difference. This is coming from our guy that does the accounting down. I can see the auditor
I
knocking
account
on your
for
door
every
next
cent
week.
that all adds up. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you got it. So anyway, the other big thing that came up was the handbook. Anybody seen the handbook? Lori Fisher, who's in charge of doing the handbook, I guess, she said, well, remember, my computer went up smoke. And she said that we have been able to recover 95% for the handbook.
Yeah, I was talking to Lori the other day, and apparently someone actually did have a flash drive that they backed the document up on. And at the next meeting, we will have a very complete handbook.
And she goes,
Yippers.
that was a close call. A lot of documentation there.
Yep.
And speaking of documentation, we'll talk more. We'll come back right after this.
suppose now shush. She makes the sound she makes to calm me down. She makes the sound she makes me. She makes the sound she makes me deep in the North Sea.
Canine Stray Rescue does just that. Rescue stray dogs for new families. But they need your help. Become a volunteer at Canine Stray Rescue League of Michigan. Take dogs for walks, help them socialize with others, and help them get adopted. Fill out an application and help a family add a new member today.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we've been kind of chit-chatting here about what goes on in the Cable Commission meeting.
Yep.
And the next thing we want to talk about is earmarked funds.
Yep.
There's funds
There's funds
out there somewheres.
for future capital outlays by
Yeah.
the OACCC,
Yeah.
should they need them.
Now, I think that the fund is what, at $200,000?
$200,000 of roughly $400,000 that's in the balance.
I recall that Buck Kramer says, does Joe Ferrari know anything about this? And Suba Sardis says, well, he gets a copy of the minutes. He says, what minutes? She says, well, you get a copy. Where did that one go? I don't know. Tell me.
It has no effect really on what Joe actually produces.
Really doesn't. No. Joe knows
It's
what's
just-
going on.
I know, and it's basically an earmark that basically says, here's some money that in the future we would like to do a capital expenditure on, whether it's a building or a lease or whatever.
Sure.
And it really doesn't affect the accounting at all.
Great. So what was resolved there? Anything?
Business as usual.
Okay, business as usual. That's good. I like business as usual.
I think the president of the commission is going to contact Joe just to see if he wants we actually annotate it to the effect that there's $200,000 in the earmark, the document that he provides to us. But if she's going to contact him and find out if he would like that annotated copy, and we haven't found out yet.
They're going to send you a copy of a copy?
No, I'll send him a copy of the copy.
Oh, okay. That's how it works. Okay. That's good.
If I'm copied correctly.
Yeah. I see yellow lights all over. Do you?
Huh?
I see yellow lights. Do you see yellow lights?
Oh, yellow lights.
Flashing?
Warning, Jim.
Yeah. I don't know if he wants to redo it. I'm just kidding.
Oh, good Lord.
Good Lord. Okay, so the other thing was forms for discipline came up. And, of course, for the station here, Ed Hunwick brought up, I guess, that question, if there should be a form or not. And then they talked about the budget workshop, which is Lori Fisher felt that the workshop should be brought up pretty soon, being the end of the year is fast closing in. And I think it's scheduled for November 7th,
Yep.
roughly
1 o'clock.
1 p.m.
Yep.
to go over the budgets.
And that'll be held at the village.
That means you got to put together your big wish list for Christmas, for next year, for the following year.
Would Bobby like a drone?
I don't know, but I think Billy would like a drone. And I think he may very well get one. We'll see what happens with that drone. Stay tuned with us and you'll learn more as we go down the line here. Let me see, station manager's report. Oh, interesting stuff. YouTube, since 2013 to 2015, over 300% viewership up. There are 5 volunteers last count. I understand there's 7 this morning and talking to Bill, our station manager. And YouTube, he said, that they had an interesting thing happen with high school girls volleyball. They had 1,150 hits when it first was put out on the air. So,
What have I got?
what have you got? I think it's too early for what you got.
Okay.
We're going to hit real quick on the Village of Oxford Village Council, and that was held, a special meeting, October 25th, just the other day. They first of all covered the bills, and it's $87,214.30. But the one thing that they did cover is unfinished business, and I want to hit that. It was rental inspection ordinance. Remember we talked about that last time?
Oh, yeah, that's a real torches and pitchfork
It
meeting,
is,
isn't it?
but guess what?
What?
It was shelved.
Shelved?
Shelved.
Is that it? Shelved or tabled?
It was the same table, but with a longer shelf life.
I see.
That's what happened there.
That's splitting here, shelving and tabling.
Right. And Sue Bassardit, the chairperson of the council, or the president, she announced at the beginning of this that she didn't know how the village could handle that paperwork to begin with. And that was the primary reason, not to proceed with it, that they don't have the resources to do it.
It's
at
a
this
lovely
point.
ship, but we can't afford it.
Looks nice for somebody else's yacht, but not for them. They did talk about sidewalk contract, cost of sharing the expense of doing the sidewalk. Right now, the way it's set up is 50%. The owner of the sidewalk in front of them has to pay for it, and the village pays the other half. Well, Bill Dunn jumped up and he says, "I like to see you try to charge me for the sidewalk in front of my place when I don't really own it." He said, "You put in a new one." So anyway, there was some discussion that followed that, and actually they agreed, the members of the council, to send it to legal and get an opinion as to what the ordinance, what type of power the ordinance has. And I do know that ordinance has been out there for years and years. So it'd be interesting to see what comes back. And I want to investigate too, what does the township do for
It's one thing to
sidewalks?
make a law, it's another thing to enforce it.
It is. So what have we got coming up?
We do have meetings. On 11/1 at 7 o'clock, the Village of Oxford Planning Commission, and at 6 o'clock the same day, the Addison Township Planning Commission special meeting. And on 11/7 at 7:30, the Addison Township Park Committee, your favorite. And at 7 o'clock that same day, the Village of Oxford Zoning Board of Appeals. Check it. It might be canceled. You never know. 11/8
Yeah.
at 6:30, the Village of Oxford Council, and at 6:30, the Oxford Board of Education will be meeting at the Oxford High School. And I just want to remind everybody, with November 8th coming up,
Yeah.
if you don't know who you're voting for, all those people, the Board of Regents of Michigan State, the judges, there's just a raft of people that are beside Don and Hillary.
Right. That's true.
And League of Women Voters brochure, you can pick it up at any municipal office. It'll tell you, it'll let people explain what they're about and let you make a decision. And you can write up a little cheat sheet on the end of the document, and you'll go into that voting booth with great knowledge.
One more thing, absentee ballots. I got to tell you, there's actually 4 sides of the ballot this year that you have to deal with in terms
Four
of
sides on
Yeah,
a two-sided sheet?
there's two. Yeah, there's
two
two
sheets.
pages, two
There's two
sheets,
sheets.
but both sides you have to vote for.
Are we
various
running into
issues.
some kind of a time limitation on the absentees right now?
Absentee? You can still get them yet, and I believe it's good until the first Saturday before the election.
Okay.
So-
But you can still apply for one.
You can still apply for one. You can get it at the township. Get registered there if you want, or at the village, either place. But township probably would be the quickest way to do it, and that's what I'd recommend.
Oh, I just like going into the booth and cranking the levers and whatever.
Well, if you do that now, it'll take you at least 20 minutes just to read all the items. So you want to be prepared. That's why a lot of people are going to the absentee ballot, folks.
I'll bring food and a cup of coffee.
All right. Sure you will. They'll throw you out of there. I'm Elgin Eccles.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
We'll catch you next time right here on Minutes by Minute.
See you then.